What would represent success for Everton between now and the rest of the season? Reviving the style is key for Silva Phil Kirkbride, when you consider the latest set of accounts, propped up by another injection of cash from Farhad Moshiri, and the importance of European football to the club's bank balance. Then finishing 7th would represent success this season. Despite a terrible run of form, Everton are still in with a shout of qualifying for the Europa League, but they will have to rid themselves of their inconsistencies in order to achieve that. That feels unlikely at the moment. So what else would help the season resemble anything like a success? Marco Silva reviving the form which saw the Blues win 5 of 7 league games between October and November, with the team playing in a clearly identifiable style and with a settled squad of players who have long-term futures at Goodison. All that's left is to end one of the most shameful runs in Everton's history. Dave Prentice, it's a long, long time since John Moores delivered his mantra for Everton success. It's there for perpetuity on Everton's official history. Everton expects success. We've a very good crowd and our crowd are very loyal. But, of course, they pay money and they expect to see us do well. If we don't do well, then something should be done about it, and something will be done about it. So a 5th place finish simply wasn't good enough for Moores. He sacked Johnny Carey in the back of a taxi and headhunted the manager of the team who had finished 2nd. Evertonian expectations are significantly lower in the 21st century. 5th place and Europe would represent success. But even that isn't happening this season. So all that's left is to end one of the most shameful runs in Everton's history. It is 8 years, 3 months and 28 days since Evertonians last celebrated a derby win, 3,042 days if you're counting. And we are. It will be 3,060 by the time Liverpool come to Goodison Park. It's the longest derby drought in history, if you exclude Everton's 9 years and 4-day winless run from 1914-1923. Which did have the mitigation of a world war wiping 4 years from the fixture calendar. And if Everton don't win next month, it could even top that statistic. Marco Silva needs to give Evertonians one season-defining victory to reassure Evertonians that his project can eventually come good. And beating Liverpool, in a season when an Anfield title win is a very real possibility, would do just that. Okay, it's not John Moore's definition of success. But it's all that's left for Everton to hope for this season. There has to be signs of progress in results or performances. Chris Beesley, there has to be signs of progress, whether that's in terms of results or performances, because Marco Silva's Everton aren't providing either of those right now. After the chopping and changing of last season, the Blues boss was virtually given a free pass for this season, yet has somehow still conspired to have many questioning his credentials. While the continuity brought by reigns of over a decade such as David Moyes' Goodison Park tenure will always be the exception rather than the rule in Premier League football, both the supporters and the owner were craving some much-needed stability this term after seeing both Ronald Koeman and Allardyce fired in the previous campaign, and Silva is benefiting from that goodwill. As much as it overshadowed his return to Vicarage Road on Saturday, he's probably also fortunate that Farhad Moshiri pursued his services so enthusiastically, and that Everton's majority shareholder, reluctant to earn a reputation as a trigger-happy boss, may now feel somewhat obliged to stand by his man. Challenging the Premier League's established Big Six was always going to be a tough ask, but the Blues could have comfortably been best of the rest, yet even that looks like an increasingly evaporating ambition for what's left of 2018-19. Also, for all the talk of a new approach against the division's heavyweights, Everton have garnered just a single point from such fixtures so far, so with more of those games coming up at Goodison, an improvement is required. What Silva, who Richarlison describes as a father figure and Marcel Brands have done is bring in footballers of an improved quality from what was at the club last season, but given that these better players therefore be producing better performances and results. Given Silva's short-lived reigns at both Hull City and Watford, his appointment to a far bigger position on Merseyside always had a significant element of a gamble about it. He needs to show that he does have the staying power to be a long-term operator in the Premier League who can actually deliver over a more prolonged period than a few months. Victory over Liverpool would be the beginning of Silva's reparations. Sam Carroll: a successful season for Everton should always be qualifying for Europe and winning a trophy. Sadly, this has not been the case for a long time. With 7th increasingly out of sight, a place that should guarantee European football next season, the definition of success becomes increasingly depressing. Guiltily, my idea of a good campaign, in terms of what the club can achieve with their limited standing in the Premier League and being knocked out of every domestic cup competition, is now derailing Liverpool's title bid and Marco Silva staying at the club. Silva must find enough character in his squad to save his job. The fact I'm typing those words 2 months after the Blues were 6 points away from the Champions League slots is worrying, but more managerial change is not what the supporters and playing staff need at this moment. Finishing in the top half and taking points from at least 3 of the upcoming Goodison clashes against the top 6 would, for me, be something of a consolation and offer a glimmer of hope going into the new campaign. Everton fought valiantly at the Emirates, Old Trafford and Anfield this season but amassed 0 points from those clashes. It's not good enough. Victory over Liverpool would be the beginning of Silva's reparations following a dismal spell of form but maintaining consistency, in terms of both results and performances, between now and the end of the season is crucial to ending the year on a positive note.